Welcome back to Pints with Pals. I'm your fabled third host, Jason. And now for your more familiar host, the Als and Pals.
My name's Mike, and I'm the northernmost host, the A in Pals.
I'm the L in Pals. Is Jeremy? Which doesn't make much sense, does it? But I'm in the Appalachian Mountains. There's that.
The Lappalachian Mountains.
The
Yep.
Appalachian Mountains. Heck yeah. Got that good old shine going on down here. So this episode is going to be about our first beers we had. And I'm having a hard time remembering my first beer. I'm older than these guys. So I pondered about it quite a while. And the only one I could come up with is Bush. Was my first beer. So what was Mike's first beer? I'm kind of curious.
My first beer technically was probably some sort of Natty Light or Bush Light or something in a college party. But the first beer that I actually enjoyed was a Labatt Blue, the hard stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Canadian import.
Yeah.
Yes.
JZ, what about you?
So mine, I didn't get out to much parties in high school and didn't try my first beers really until I could legally drink. And there was a place in Wyandotte, Michigan, Oak Cafe. They used to have the coldest Sam Adams cherry wheat, and that's what I got hooked on in my 20s. They used to put the maraschino cherries or whatever they're called in it, and made it all
wow.
fruity. It was very delicious. I remember one time someone complained, "Oh, we didn't get our cherries," and the guy came back and like poured the whole jar in the beer for him. But yeah, we used to get pictures of it all night. It was delicious. It's to this day. It's actually made with Michigan cherries. I never knew that.
I didn't know
So
that
I'm
either.
kind of curious. So when you get the picture of it, now did they pour cherries in the pitcher as well?
No,
So
no, no, no.
oh, that'd be cool.
Just when they stopped giving us pictures and just gave you the solo ones, or whoever was working really. Sometimes it was hit or miss what you got.
Right. So I kind of chickened out. I didn't get a Bush. I got a Modelo
Oh,
mango and chili tonight.
I don't think that was around back.
No, it wasn't around back then.
First started drinking.
This didn't even make the noise. I was like, oh.
All right.
I didn't start drinking till I was in my like 20s also, like 22. I was a senior in college or a junior in college when I first started drinking so I have a little bit of a temper tantrum sometimes. Like when something doesn't go my way, I'll like just blow up at something, and I was really afraid to get drunk and then go to a party or something and somebody get pissed off because I'm 6'2", 220 to 290 pounds, give or take. So like I don't really want to be that guy that like put somebody in the hospital on accident because I'm drunk and don't know my own strength. So I was kind of terrified to start drinking to begin with, so I never did.
At least with the Labatts, doesn't you can drink many of them before you get drunk at 6'2".
Yeah, because I started on like with like regular hard alcohol, like Captain Morgan and Coke would have been my like go-to starter drink. And then I remember like smoking cloves to get that buzz, like to like add to like that was the first time I'd ever been drunk, is I had like a clove cigarette or whatever, and I'm just like, ooh.
Oh, clove cigarettes.
I haven't had one of those in probably 20 years now. Do they even make them anymore?
No, I'm sure they do. I couldn't smoke one of those. It'd probably kill me. No, so like, I remember we got Bush because it was super cheap. I don't think it was more than like $1.50 for a 40. It was so cheap. And I remember drinking it. It was super crisp, light, of a flavor. But as it warmed up, it got this diacetyl to it, which diacetyl is actually like it's like a flavor compound found in like microwave popcorn. So it had that buttery flavor to it. So that's what it tasted like, which is just a bad off flavor. So like I was turned off really, really quick by it. So I didn't even finish. I think I maybe drank like, I don't know, a third of the 40 and threw the rest away. So I was like, this isn't worth it. This is gross. And I think I did drink beer for a while after that. And I was kind of like Mike, where I drink more hard liquor. I mean, I like Bacardi 151 was like my drink. I love that. I would just chase it with Coke or whatever. Then with the Captain Morgan and stuff like that. But
151, you basically had like Everclear.
Oh
Were
yeah,
you
pretty
just
much.
spitting
Yeah, I
fire
loved
all
it.
the time?
I loved it. Yeah, it was so good.
I
Yeah.
was always afraid of liquor. I'd always stick with the beer, and I avoided. I don't know. This might still be to this day, but I always avoided the American domestic type stuff. I would always wanted my craft beers. Um, and even back 20 years ago, whatever it would have been.
Yeah.
That's what got me hooked on like I love Sam Adams
Yep.
beers. Killian's, which I don't know who owns
Yep. I like
Killian's.
Hellions.
Yeah, that
That's good.
was one of those.
I liked
I don't know.
Killian's on
That's
draft. I think it was best on draft.
th-
Yeah.
yeah. The place they have like the place that we'd always go to in our 20s had like 5 beers that were like cheap, and Killian's was always like number one. So that was what
Right.
we weren't drinking cherry, we were drinking Killian's.
I would say if I went clubbing, there was two places in Flint we used to go to. We used to go to the Metropolis and Churchill's, and they would have pitchers for like $3, and I would buy too many of
Yep.
them. And
Yep.
then I think if I was going to like house parties, my beer choice was MGD, Miller Genuine Draft.
Oh,
Oh,
there
I
you go.
love that stuff, especially ice cold. Oh, so good. Can't drink it nowadays, but it was so good back in the day.
Yeah, Miller High Life. I love that. The
Then yeah, the
champagne of
champagne
beer.
beers.
Yeah.
I appreciate those beers more now that I'm a little bit older. Like I like Coors, I love Coors Light. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the Bakewell one's good. Yeah,
Vanco ones, yeah.
yeah. I especially after cutting grass and outside all
It's
day.
it's
So
a dad
refreshing.
pop. Like a dad pop. I call them dad pops,
Exactly.
Not your grandfather's. Wait, no.
You're right.
It is your grandfather's beer.
Yeah.
That was funny because like I probably like had like a sip or whatever of beer because my parents always had like parties and stuff, and we had like big bashes, and my dad would drink PBR. He had just PBR everything everywhere,
Right.
and he hasn't had one in probably 40 years at this point. It's nuts that he like went from like literally every picture that he's holding me in one hand, he's got a beer in the other hand, and it's PBR, and I was like, it was
Yeah,
nuts.
I guess if we're being real, the first beer I probably had was Michelob. That was my dad's beer. I always remember
Okay.
the same thing. He'd always have them. And didn't they have Michelobs? Didn't they have like the silver on the caps at one point? I don't remember. But
Maybe. I don't remember either.
silver was involved somewhere. I just remember those.
So my dad didn't drink beer often at all. He may have one with a friend somewhere else, but there was never beer in the house. So like I never had that opportunity to sneak in the fridge and still dad's dad's juice or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
Yeah, I never stole any from him. I just know that they would be like open, and I'd take a sip of like a warm one that like somebody had left from the night
Oh,
before or something. So it's like it basically just turned me off of the whole thing for
oh yeah.
many years.
Never.
Yeah,
It didn't
that's
taste
true.
good. You had to drink a lot of it to realize, oh, it's good.
Yeah, and I think that that's what happened with this Labatt. I was at my buddy's wedding, and it was probably June or July, and it was just hot as hell, and they ran out of maybe he just had like cans of beer and stuff or whatever, and we were setting everything up, and I was just like, oh, I'm so thirsty, and then I grabbed one of those. It was the first time I'd actually like, I was like, oh, this tastes better than I remember. I was probably 24 or 5. It's
Okay.
like I was pretty old when I first started drinking beer. I was, and eventually I just became lazy, and the bar that I went to, they only had Bud Light, and they had like 3 taps, and I think because it was an Irish pub, they had Bass and Guinness, so you could make a black and tan, but then like they had Miller. They might have had 5 because I think they had like Miller Lite, Miller, Budweiser, Bud Light, and then a 5th. And that might have been Bass. Like that was it.
Right.
And I was like, well, I knew that my cousins or somebody would drink Bud Light, so I was like, oh, I'll just stick with Bud Light. And then I just like stayed course with that for many years afterward.
Many
But
years. Even when I met you, you're still drinking them, and could never get you to try something else.
Yeah, I drank
and
Bud Light for a very long time as well. It was hard for me to. I mean, I don't know. I just liked it. It was simple. They went down smooth. They were
Cheap.
got you where you want to get to.
Yeah.
I don't think I did. I didn't start buying craft beers until God,
you could afford it.
2005, 2006,
I
maybe.
feel like
somewhere in
craft
there.
beers were always like super expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm like, back when I was in my 20s, I couldn't really afford. So I would go to a place and I get a $5 burger and a $5 32 ounce like pitcher of beer. And it was like, and that was from like going from like hanging out in Ann Arbor. In Ann Arbor, it was like $5 for a 20 ounce beer or a 16 ounce beer. And I was like, cool. That is, I can get like hammered for the same $20. So I'd spend like $10 and have like half a gallon or a quarter of a gallon of beer or whatever and a burger with fries. And I'm just like, I still have half my 20 left.
Can you even get pitchers of beer anymore? You don't see that advertised when you go into bars nowadays.
Yeah.
I think no, it's usually buckets.
Right.
Oh yeah, they do buckets. Yeah.
Yeah, I think buckets have replaced the whole pitcher thing.
We
Because
actually,
people got too sloppy drunk, they just knock over the pitcher.
yeah, that makes sense. Well, and it gets warm. Like I don't want a pitcher of beer. It's like an open container
Usually,
with like, ugh.
it's just a way to share. It's like, oh, I'll get the next round. You just get a pitcher, and then everyone just pours.
I feel like
So
nobody ever wants the same beer anymore either.
Well, that's true. There's a lot of variety these days.
And I guess that's just us getting older too, right? Like you have your tastes and you've developed your tastes, and the friends that you're with aren't always going to be the friends. Like your high school friends might have had that same thing, or people that you've known for like 20 years. But like even me now, like if I go to a bar, I probably won't even order a Bud Light. I probably won't order anything if they don't have anything on tap that I want. Is your beer orange? Sorry,
Yeah.
I just that caught me off guard. I looked up and saw like a big bright orange thing. It looks like he's drinking orange pop.
Yeah, it's very, very orange.
And
It smells like mangoes and chili.
That's nuts.
Sorry.
No, that's right.
I would expect mine to be red, but no, it's very.
Well, you didn't put your maraschino cherries in it.
No,
Well,
that's
no,
true.
right?
You should go see if you have some in the fridge.
I'm actually
probably
drinking
have,
this out of my Sam Adams 25th
nice.
anniversary glass. When I was 21 and finally could travel a little bit, went to Boston and was able to go to the I don't know if it was the original one, but yeah, it was very cool. It was my first brewery tour. Might have been my second. I think my first was Coors in Colorado, but very cool to see their setup and listen to those guys talk because they were very into what they were doing.
Yeah.
We my wife and I are going to Chicago this weekend, and the Revolution is releasing a very special old BSO Gravedigger, which is it's a barrel aged the Scotch ale. So it's their Scotch ale, and they're releasing like this they call them VSO and then fill in the blank for their stuff, and they're releasing it. And then one of my other buddies messaged me today. He's like, "Oh, there's a place in Ann Arbor that's like releasing it on Thursday." And I'm like, so I have to decide how many I want to order tomorrow, and then if I taste it and it sucks, I'll be like, "Yeah, can I cancel that?" But I feel like any of these stupid beer orders you end up not being able to cancel any of that stuff. So I'm kind of,
That's interesting.
You can always trade it. That's what people do. Trade these beers.
right.
Hold on to them and trade. Get your Zombie versus Vlad.
We're going out there for that as well. There's a place called Hailstorm that has Zombie versus Vlad, but they have a blend which is mixed with it's in Blanton barrels and then another high-end bourbon. So I'm kind of excited to try that and get that too. We originally hadn't planned on. So we were gonna go out and they were like, we don't like Gravedigger's good, but it's not like the best. So I'm like, I don't know if if it's really worth a 4-hour trip to Chicago. And then I must have drunkenly ordered something because I got a reminder after we canceled our hotel and everything. I got like a reminder like, your stuff's ready to be picked up at the local market. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, all right, guess we're going to Chicago.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
cool though. So now I'm wondering, because like I said, since I chickened out, I didn't get a Bush. Since you guys are drinking these things, do you have any flashbacks or nostalgia? Is it still as good as you once remembered?
It's sweeter than I thought.
Older. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's fruitier than I remember. It's a Canadian Pilsner is what they consider this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it tastes I have hints of fruit. That's probably why I liked it the first time. Very little beer flavor.
Mine is good. I don't know if I could drink. I couldn't drink it all night. The cherries are very strong. It's good. It's also not as cold as I remember it being. I don't know. We used to do. You could chocolate covered cherries with it. Because you would do. Yeah, because you'd have the cherry wheat on the bottom, and then uh, they got bought out recently. Jeremy, you got me some. The double chocolate stout, Young's double
Yes.
chocolate stout.
Yep.
So that you mix that with it, and that was good. That was a little bit. You could drink more of that, but again, Young's is very thick, so
Yeah.
couldn't really drink it all night. But getting flashbacks. Want to go downstairs and grab the Young's now and see if I enjoy it as a black and tan
There you go.
or a
That's
chocolate
cool.
covered cherry rather.
Oh, that'd be perfect. That'd be really awesome. So, is there anything notable about your style of beer, Mike? From besides being Canadian?
No, it's imported.
So it's not important. It's just imported.
No, yeah, it says that on the bottle. Yeah, no, I didn't. I haven't really had one since. I don't know. If it's the only thing available, I'll drink one. But
Right.
I typically at this point now in my beer drinking days, I don't like if there's nothing I really want to drink, I don't drink them.
Fair enough.
And so I haven't really followed the Labatt's like franchise at all ever really. I feel like they
I'm
haven't
pretty
really changed much in the last 25 years.
Right. I'm pretty sure I can't even find that down here.
Really?
I don't think I've ever seen it. No.
That's
Which
nuts.
kind of makes sense because like stuff can only be distributed so far anyways, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there's certain beers I can get down here you guys can't get just because they don't distribute past whatever the Bible Belt or the Mason-Dixie line or whatever you want to call it. So one thing I did learn about Busch Light when I was doing a little bit of research on it, it's only 4.1% ABV. I was like, wow, that's really low. I didn't think it was that low. I thought it was more like 4.5 or above, but yeah, I was kind of shocking how low that is.
Yeah, I remember the high schoolers the kids in high school. I guess they were high schoolers, but they would drink the ice, like Bud Ice, and those were like 6% or something. Like they were just trying to get drunk, and those were disgusting. Ooh,
yeah, Bud Ice House was another one I drank. What else?
Do you guys remember Zima?
Green Horse one.
Oh, of course.
Was it like clear beer? It was like clear Pepsi's, like
malt liquor is what that was.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah,
that was one that was gone by my time, but I remember
it came back a couple years ago.
It did.
Yeah.
I used to do the Mike's Hard Lemonades and stuff too. That was like my
Instant
I don't have to do a mix. Oh, right? Like I smell one now. I'm like, nope. No. Not happening.
We would do we'd have beer and then someone would order a cider. Johnny Apple something cider. It's made in Michigan. We'd have that and then we'd move on to shots or something. Which is probably the wrong way to do it, but we were young.
Beer before liquor.
Yeah. But my beer, what do I note about it? I'm not these days. I don't drink these, American wheats. I'm more of a IPA, sours, whatever. But it's good. It wouldn't be something I'd grab nowadays. But maybe if it's on the menu, I'd be like, oh, it's like because you don't see cherry wheat on draft that many places. But
not very often. It's usually just the Boston Lager.
Yeah, I feel like you used to see it a lot more, but now like all these breweries have all the different stuff, and like, and it's maybe a seasonal. Like they might do that for a fall or something. Like I feel like a wheat is more like a fall beer, but yeah, I don't think that they do because I just feel like everybody like sees that and has had that before, so now they're just trying to get like the well, most places just end up have whatever local brewery has whatever, like they would have whatever cherry wheat or wheat beer from that local brewery.
Yeah, they probably could. Yeah.
Now, Jeremy, how about your mango chili? What are you getting notes of?
Dude, it's so strange. It's like
God, it's so orange.
It's
If,
like on the
if
nose.
you're listening to this podcast, you need to go
Yeah.
find this episode and look it up and go to like minute 19.
Yeah, it is very orange.
And then
But I
after
mean,
that, look up Fago Orange Pop or whatever it's
there you
called,
go.
and it's like it's exactly the same.
I mean, it's a lot of mango on the nose. Like, there's no other smell but mango. The taste is salty, sweet, and spicy, but it's
Hmm.
not like it doesn't hurt spice. It's not like a jalapeno beers I've had. I'll never do a habanero. There's just no way. I'm too much of a wuss for that. Um, I like it. It's very refreshing. It's crisp. The only problem is like you can't see it in the camera, but there are specks of like chili flakes just floating in there.
Oh,
Ooh.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just don't like that. Like I like spicy stuff. Like I will eat like habanero like flavored
Oh,
things, but I don't like it in a beer. I think it like it hits my like pain receptors in a weird kind of way. I don't
fair
know.
enough. I think this would be a fun one to split between three people. Because I mean, heck, it's not big the can is, big as
yeah.
my head.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nuts. It's almost as big as
Spicy.
your water bottle.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, that thing is monster. Oh my gosh, like I just got this today.
You can start filling it up with beer during work. And that's your quota. You got to drink a
Yeah,
gallon of beer.
yeah, a gallon of beer. Yeah, I'll get
That's
all
your
the
limit,
things
really.
done.
Yeah.
That's my limit.
Yeah, I'm not a big
So,
spicy beer. Sorry, big spicy beer person either. It's not. I mean, I'll have one. I know Oberon did, or Bell's did I think they did a habanero Oberon one year,
okay.
and you couldn't buy it anywhere. But I mean, I'd try one, but I feel like it wouldn't be for me.
Like I said, it's different. I just saw it. I was like, yeah, I gotta try it. It just sounds weird. At least, I mean,
But I do like spicy margaritas, so maybe I guess there's.
oh, then you would like the one I had in Cincinnati. Well, me, Mike, and Angela, and Rhonda, we were all at some Mexican taco stand kind of place. We sat right on almost on the street. That's how close we were. I mean, we could touch cars as they drove by. I was like, "Ooh, a spicy margarita. That sounds good." I ordered it. I was like, "Nope, this is not good at all."
I would have drank it.
Oh yeah, nope. That's why we went back to Taft's and got ourselves that strawberry milkshake IPA. That
Oh,
was
you
good.
found out? Oh, you found out what it was called? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, yes,
Taps.
Taft's because the fat president got stuck in the bathtub, as legend goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the I don't remember if it's one of the ciders we have downstairs is a habanero pear or habanero something, and it's like it came in like a flavor pack. So I've not really learned, but I keep forgetting to not take the stupid flavor packs of stuff because it's like so like we got one with um I forget what it was now, but like Dos Equis had one and they had like a like 3 or 4 flavors and I was like, ooh, they have a lime one. Well, it's like lime and salt. And I'm like, well, the salt ruined it because it just basically tasted salty. And then they had like a lemon one that had something else with it, and that was gross. They all tasted fake, like the flavors tasted fake. I've tried like the Bud Light lime, and I'm like, nope, none of these things are any good. I just I have no desire for that. So I steer the hell away from like a flavor pack that's like whatever it is, 3 or 4 of each, and like you get either 3 or 4 varieties in that. And I
Hmm.
drank like the main one, and then I just throw away the other 9.
I'll take them.
Okay. Well, I got a
Try both.
big package of stuff upstairs that are probably all expired.
Now, did you guys
The
ever put like tomato juice or salt in your beers at all?
I remember in I think I did it once, and I was drunk, but I was in Virginia, and
Right.
this this guy was at the bar with me,
Mhm.
and I think he was drinking Miller Lite something, and he asked the guy for Tabasco sauce, and I'm like, he doesn't have anything to eat. What's he doing? And he starts putting in his beer, and everyone at the bar like turns and looks at this guy. What the hell are you doing? And he swore by. It. He says it's delicious, and I tried it, and it was pretty good, but
I've done
uh,
tomato juice in the past. It was pretty good. Yeah.
never done that. Never done salt. I've done Tabasco once.
And never again. Yeah, the I've seen people do that, like their Bloody Mary.
Mhm.
Basically they would just like pour their beer into their Bloody Mary or vice versa, whichever they're doing. I think my dad used to do that. Like he'd have his Bloody Mary and then like get down to the end and then pour whatever beer he had in it. And I'm like, oh, Like, I think you could just leave all those like kernels and seeds and whatever the hell is all at the bottom of it.
That's where the best parts are.
Yeah, but that's like my dad would just like we would get like spaghetti or something. We'd make it at home, and he would just like pile like he would have his salad, and then he'd just like give up, and then like just stir it all together and eat it all at once. I'm like,
Okay, I think you're going somewhere else with that story.
What
Like
are you
he would take the
doing?
marinara sauce and pour it in his beer.
no, I just it
Chopsticks
was
with some noodles.
yeah. And if you're listening, Dad, I'm sorry. It
Oh
it
no,
was weird.
This is great, Kevin.
But yeah, I don't really know if I've ever. I don't think I've ever tried that. It just that sounds gross to me. It ruins two things I like. Like I like the beer and I like the tomato juice. So I don't really want to mix them together.
So what I noticed, like,
Clamato.
I wouldn't get as bloated.
That's
If
what
I
he.
had
I
those,
think
like-
that's what he said.
Yeah, you don't get as bloated from adding tomato juice to it. It's I don't know. I think it's a combination of the acid that's in
The acid,
the tomato
yeah.
juice.
So it
plus the
neutralizes
salt.
something, maybe.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Hmm.
and it's,
So-
but it's not flat either. It's still carbonated. You just don't feel bloated as you're drinking, which was fine. You don't add a lot. It's like a shot or whatever, maybe less than a shot.
Yeah, I think he just put a couple of drops in. That's
Yeah.
all I remember.
All right.
Yeah, it's like that pickleback thing that people do with Jameson and a pickleback. I'm like, ooh, with the
No,
pickle juice shot, essentially. I'm like, no, thank you.
no, I've never done that. Cement mixer once. That was pretty gross. And maybe we could say that one for a different day. I'll talk about cement mixers.
Yeah, the one you could chew.
Yeah, pretty much.
That was like that was like what I tried to get
The one
all
you
of my
first-
friends to try and do when they turned 21.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Okay, I guess
hold
we'll
it in
talk
your
about it then. Switch around for a minute. And of course, you get like 10 seconds into it, and it's like, got his cheese. And like, I'm gonna spit it out. Oh, gotta swallow it. Swallow it. So it was lemon juice with. If you went to a bar and they knew what they were doing, they give you a shot of lemon juice and a shot of Bailey's Irish Cream. They didn't know what they were doing. They mixed the two together. It'd be curdled by the time it got to you. So you shoot either one first, and then you would switch it. You're supposed to be for a minute, but nobody can ever go a minute. Yeah, that would do it. It was so gross, so gross. Even, whatever.
No, thank you.
Happy 21st birthday.
Yeah, right.
Right. You're going to be throwing up, and this is going to make a cork so you can't throw up.
Right.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's why I didn't throw up.
Mm.
Turn to styrofoam.
That's puking out little, like, orange chunks of stuff. God, your beer is so gross looking. I'm sorry.
The orange?
Yeah. It looks
I-
like...
It looks delicious. I don't know. It looks.
Yeah, it does look a lot like Fago.
It's highly carbonated too. It's still just bubbling up. It's crazy.
Mine got emptied quick. Turns out you can drink faster out of a bottle.
Easy drinker. Yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah, because you're watching the level go down.
Yeah, it was like, because it felt heavier, so I was like, oh. Yeah.
Good
So
times,
Jeremy,
man.
how would you brew? So cherry wheat has cherries in it. How do you brew something with fruits? Do you know?
So I've talked to some pro brewers, and they all told me just to go get extract
Okay.
because you're not guaranteed to get the fruit flavors that you want from it, right? Or you don't even know how many pounds you're gonna have to use.
Right.
Like a guy gave me an example. They did like a 30-gallon batch, and like 10 gallons of it was just like blueberries. It had no blueberry flavor.
Really?
Yeah, so yeah, just like so yeah, that many gallons. I was like, that's just insane that you didn't get no flavor from it. But that's what I would do. I just buy extract and just add it to it.
Okay.
But I would probably do what's called like dosing. So I would pour like so many ounces per cup, and it would say like so many drops per those, and see what tastes good, and then I would just dose the keg with the what I needed to.
That's smart. Yeah, I feel like I think you were telling me before too, potentially that you might introduce like bacteria and stuff.
Good.
Because like you can't necessarily clean the inside as well of like, because you're supposed to sanitize your fruit or at least like you're supposed to sanitize it, then you're supposed to freeze it, and there's a whole bunch of like stuff that you have to do. But I would be worried about the extract potentially being too like fake flavors, because I feel like that's what I get when I have the cherry wheat, which is funny because it's Michigan cherries, but I feel like it tastes like a fake cherry flavor, like cough syrupy almost.
I could see that.
Well,
wonder
at
if it's
least with like
blended.
more than one of them.
Yeah. I wonder if it's blended though. Like they take some extract or make their own extract from the Michigan
Yeah.
cherries. You know.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing that when I was going to make a cherry cider. I was going to basically boil down cherry juice and then try and get it to be way stronger so that end up being more of a flavor that gets added to it. But that sounded like too much work, so I just didn't do it.
No, that's fine. No, so like my blueberry, that blueberry
Yeah.
ale that I make, I mean that's with extract.
Okay.
And I use, I don't know, it's about a vial like you bake. I forget how many ounces it is.
You put
It's
cherry
maybe-
extract in your blueberry?
Oh, no.
Oh, blueberries, yeah.
Blueberry.
Blueberries. Cherries on the mind.
No, you didn't say cherries. I was just
Oh,
Yeah.
because we were talking about cherries. So I was like, I was just putting 2 and 2 together and made 7. So,
it's fine.
all right. Well, I want to say welcome to Jason.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
it's been one hell of a reminiscent podcast. Everybody else might not like it, but our first beers down memory lane. I'm sure that we'll have multiple versions of this at some point. But thanks for joining. And did you have anything? Did you have anything else to say?
Yeah. Thanks for listening. I'm glad to be able to join finally.
Yeah.
So remember, drink a pint with your pals.
Yep. Have a good one.
Drink responsibly. Bye.
Like and subscribe.